It's the 18th of May and we're at Port Solent, ready to start another trip to Europe. What better way to start than having a quiet drink overlooking the marina? The next morning we set off from Port Solent along the M275 to the Brittany Ferries check-in. It's about a 15-minute drive. Next is security. Are we going to be checked? No. Next we were boarding Brittany Ferries' brand new ferry, the Guillaume de Normandy. A little bit grey this morning. We had a cabin. We usually do. We use the shower, etc. And then it's several games of skip-bo, lunch in a cafe.
Monsieur for lunch. Very nice, really.
And before you know it, the French coastline comes into view. And 6 hours later, we're disembarking in Ouistreham, France. One of the first off. Through passport control, security, and then we're heading up the D514 in the direction of Caen.
Our first stop is going to be the Super U of Blainville. And we're nearly there to Super U. It's less than 5 minutes with the boat.
We like stopping here, not just because it's a huge shop where you can buy absolutely anything, but because it's so easy to park.
We're on the A88 heading to the Montresor. How much was that? 770.
This is the camping car park at Le Mele Sarthe. 69 pitches, a mixture of hard sanding and grass. We chose grass. There are toilets and showers which are open April to October, and a motorhome service point. The site's really close to the centre of town and next to the fishing lake. Now this trip was supposed to be a 6 weeks trip and we were headed for Italy. But as it does sometimes, life gets in the way and we were reduced to 4 weeks. So we thought about heading down to Provence. But the weather forecast wasn't so good down there and the weather here wasn't too bad at all. So we thought, how about a couple of weeks wandering along the Loire Valley? There's a lot of places we haven't seen and there's a lot of places we'd like to see again. So our next stop on this trip is going to be a camping car park at Montrichard. But first things first, empty the loo and the grey water.
Turn left onto Riverside.
We're good.
We got to the camping car park at Montrichard and found that we couldn't get the barrier to lift using our card, so a quick call to the camping car park help desk and we were let in.
It is open, yes. Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you.
This is a nice camping car park. Some of the pitches are delimited, some are on grass, some are on gravel, and there are also some open areas. The electric was by way of the normal 3-pin Euro plug, and there is the usual camping car park motorhome service area. No toilets or showers.
That's our setup at the moment. We've got a little bit of rain forecast at 1 o'clock. Be interesting to see if it happens, but it's a lot cooler than it was yesterday. It's 15 degrees. Yesterday we had 25. There we are.
The camping car park is about a 15-minute walk into the centre of town. Montrichard is an attractive medieval town on the banks of the River Cher in the Loire Valley. During the Middle Ages, Montrichard was an important town as it sat at the crossroads of the Paris-Bordeaux-Spain route and the old Roman road towards Bourges. Our first stop in Montrichard was to be the Maison de Tourist to obtain a guide to the town, and then we were going to head to the castle. Built by Fouque Nera, the Count of Anjou in 1005, to protect the town from his arch-enemy Odo I, Count of Blois. But unfortunately, the castle's only open on Saturday and Sunday afternoons. But we did get to see the Church of the Holy Cross. This church was at one time the castle chapel. Fouque Nera brought a relic of the authentic cross from Jerusalem and presented it to the castle chapel when it was founded in the 11th century. A section of the castle wall collapsed in the 18th century, badly damaging the chapel, and after extensive repairs, it became the parish church of Montrichard. The rest of the town is made up of narrow cobblestone streets, half-timbered houses and remnants of the old town walls.
The anticipated rain has finally arrived. I put the screen up this morning because of the wind, but that's gone completely now.
The following morning, we packed up, and after a stop at the motorhome service point, we were heading just up the road to the second most visited chateau in France, the Chateau de Chenonceaux, the first being the Palace of Versailles.
Yeah, you got it, babes.
Chenonceau is just a 6-mile drive from Montrichard.
Windows down, scattered clouds, smell of spring outside.
Right, you ready? Yeah, we're going. Go, go, go.
Open road, I'm sitting close. Let's go somewhere far away. As if all I have is you, and I'll be just
Turn left onto Chemin de la Varenne.
yeah, I'll be just fine. Heading for the western shore, where the sun is slowly fades.
This is the camping car park at Chenonceau. 25 pitches, all with electric, toilet and showers open during the summer months, and the usual services tower arrangement, with fresh water on the left there and the cassette empty on the right. We chose a nice quiet pitch. Well, maybe not that quiet. There weren't many trains during the night, and we slept okay. It was a chilly start to the day, 9 degrees, but a high of 22 was forecast.
Let's go and see the chateau.
The first stop was buy a ticket. You can queue at the ticket office, or you can use the self-service machine, which seemed to be a lot quicker. This is the Grand Allée, created by Apolline, Countess of Villeneuve, in the early 1800s. The first thing you come to is the Gardens of Diane de Poitiers. Diane was Henry II of France's favourite mistress, and she was gifted the chateau, and she had the gardens developed and had a bridge built over the river Cher. But after Henry died in 1559, his wife Catherine de Medici had Diane relocated, extended the gardens, and had the two-storey gallery built on top of the bridge.
What do you think of the chateau?
I think it's gorgeous. Yeah.
Inside the chateau was very, very busy, and it was difficult to do much filming with so many people about. There are 3 floors to explore, and the bedrooms and apartments on the upper floors were very busy. We might visit again sometimes, but we would do the house first before the gardens and hopefully beat the crowds. Apart from the house, there were the gardens, a maze, a carriage museum, wine cellar, a 16th century farm, Catherine de Medici's apothecary, and a military hospital, as during World War I, the chateau was used as a military hospital, paid for by the owner at the time, Gaston Menier. The next day was a Saturday, and after using the site services, we headed back to Montrichard, as I fancied having a look at the fortress, which was only open Saturdays and Sundays. It was, after all, only 6 miles along the road. And here we are, back at Montrichard. No issues with the barrier, and we got the same pitch. Sue didn't fancy climbing the donjon, so it was just me. The cost of visiting the fortress is €7, which includes entry into the very interesting Museum of Archaeology and another of local life. The tower, or donjon, was built around 1005 by Fouquenera, the Count of Anjou, who is considered to have been the first of the Plantagenets, Henry II, Richard the Lionheart, King John, etc. The donjon is 21 metres high. It was 25, but in 1589, Henry IV ordered it to be reduced by 4 metres. Getting to the top, you can see why Fouquenera wanted to build a fortress here. You can see for miles, and his arch enemy, Odo I, the Count of Blois, was only 20 miles up the road. The next morning was gloomy, but better things were forecast, and we were heading to Saint-Aignan.
You've got it.
Turn right at the traffic light, then enter the roundabout.
Still bit ahead of himself.
Let's go somewhere far away. As if all I have is you, and I'll be just fine. Yeah, I'll be just fine.
Saint-Aignan is a medieval town on the banks of the river Cher, about 30 miles south of Tours. The Renaissance Chateau and the Collegiate Church of Saint-Aignan dominate the skyline.
On the left.
Days are full, and I spend them with you. Let's go somewhere far away.
This wasn't our favourite camping car park of all time, it's just a slab of tarmac, and this was the only spot where we could get anywhere near levelled out. But there are 29 spaces, all with 6 amps of electric and the usual motorhome service point, and it's a very short walk into the very nice town of Saint-Aignan. We walked down to the river and we spotted a riverside bar, or guinette, on the island, and we went over and had a drink. They weren't very forthcoming with the menu. We were the only customers there, so we headed back to Campy to have lunch. Now today, it's croque monsieur. This is a little bit posh. This is brioche one.
Yeah, but isn't it worth that?
Very nice. Would you get this again?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, definitely.
We did have a bit of company overnight. At one time we thought we were going to be on our own. Anyway, the following morning started bright enough and we headed into town. Our first stop was the Office of Tourism to pick up our free map and guide to the town. First place on the tour is the Chateau. You can't go in, but you can access the courtyard and the grounds for some lovely views across the River Cher and the town. The Chateau was built in the 15th century on the ruins of an earlier fortification by the Beauval family, close allies of King Louis XIV, and descendants of that family still live in the Chateau today. This octagonal tower is an 18th century add-on to the stable block. From the Chateau's courtyard, there's an impressive stairway leading down to the collegiate church, which was built on top of an 11th century crypt, which houses some remarkably well preserved frescoes on its walls and ceilings, dating back to the 12th century. Well worth a visit. I would imagine that most of the walls and ceilings were covered with these frescoes at one time, and it must have been an amazing sight. There were a lot of eating places in Saint-Aignan, including this Michelin star. We did like Saint-Aignan, with its cobbled streets and squares and its medieval feel, but back at Campy we decided to move on before our 24 hours at the camping car park was up and move to yet another camping car park at a place just down the road at Montrésor.
Windows down, scattered clouds, smell of spring outside. Open road, you sitting close. Let's go somewhere far away. As if all I have is you, and I'll be just fine.
We liked it here. We had the end pitch, which always gives you just a little bit more room, and we were only about 600 metres from the Chateau de Montrechard. Our meal that night was one of our favourite Carluccio recipes, a matrice style bucatini. The following morning started chilly enough, 9 degrees, but 22 was forecasted for the day. This chateau was a bit of a mixed bag. The original chateau was built by Fucnera in 1005 and consisted of the first stone keep or donjon. In the 12th century, Henry II had the towers at the entrance built, but by the 15th century the fortress was abandoned and a Renaissance castle was built in the grounds by the Lord of Bouchange, Imbert de Basternay. After this the castle changed hands many times. The French Revolution in 1789 marked its decline until 1849, when Polish magnate Count Xavier Branicki bought the dilapidated property. He had the chateau completely restored and filled it with Polish historical artifacts, and it's now a notable museum. Count Branicki dedicated the chateau to his great hero King Jan Sobieski, who defeated the Ottomans outside of Vienna in 1683. The Pope hailed King Sobieski at the time as the saviour of Western Christendom. Count Branicki died in 1879, and the chateau is basically as he left it. There's a very nice marked out walk through the village and along the river, and the Church of St. John the Baptist is well worth a visit.
Safe.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
We decided to treat ourselves, and we had lunch at the Café de la Ville. We chose the duck with the pepper sauce, chips and salad, a carafe of the more expensive of the wines, and a creme brulee for dessert, and it came to a very reasonable €56. What's it like?
Beautiful.
And that about wraps it up for this episode. Thanks for watching, it's been great having you travel along with us. Look out for the next episode, because on this trip we still have Amboise, Saumur, Airvolt, Parthenay, Vouet, Parthenay again where we bump into a blues festival, Lyon-sur-Mer and Hermanville. If you could hit that like button, it would be really appreciated. So from the both of us, au revoir for now.
Awful.
is you, and I'll be just fine.